Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Sir Jen, magandang gabi. Ito ang Crosstalk. Samahan niyo po kami sa loob ng 30 minutos. Sa ating special edition ng Crosstalk sa gabing ito, in celebration of the International Women's Month, tatalakayin po natin ang Pinay sa mga mata ng isang abogada. Dahil special edition po ngayon ang Crosstalk, mga kabrigada, we have also a special guest with us. She is a graduate of the University of the Philippines College of Law, an outstanding law intern of the UP Office of Legal Aid for school year 2004-2005. She is a consistent honor student from elementary, high school, up to her pre-law course, which is BS Psychology at the Ateneo de Manila University, where she was a Dean's Lister. She is also a lecturer, trainer on women's and children's rights, anti-violence against women and children, and the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act. Presently, she is the president of the Rotary Club of Coronadal and the secretary of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, South Cotabato and General Santos City Chapter. Mga kabrigada, please help me welcome Attorney Sandy Tandog. Good afternoon, Attorney Sandy.
Good afternoon, Belle. Thank you for having me as your guest tonight.
Thank you also for accepting our invitation. So, ituloy-tuloy na natin ang ating talakayan.
Okay.
Of course, mga kabrigada, we are celebrating International Women's Month and we have the apt resource person to discuss some issues that pertain to women and gender. So, Attorney Sandy, sa experience mo ba as a lady lawyer and officer of the IBP, nakikita mo ba na ang mga women clients are more inclined to go to women lawyers or not?
To be honest, I think the female clients, they would actually approach the male lawyers first. At least in our office, yes, because there are 3 of us there. 2 older lawyers, but all male. My mentors also and me. Because most of them think that, they look at the male lawyers as a sort of their protector.
That's right.
But most of the time, my male partners would refer back to me, the female clients, because they cannot handle the tears. Pag nasimula yun mag-iyakan, Sandy, can you take over?
Okay.
Kasi they become so sometimes uncomfortable with weeping, crying women. So, in the end, if it involves cases relating to family, and of course, violence against women, could end back up to me.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin na mga kabrigada that women really need men as protector, no?
Yes.
Parang it's the symbolism.
Siguro. Kasi most of the women, they would tend to approach first my male partners rather than me. Siguro maybe because I'm still young and maybe they think that maybe she can't protect us and all that. But my male partners would always say, Sandy, you would ask to join us and eventually I would take over.
Pero in your experience now being a member of this firm na very active ka, meron ka ring mga sariling kliyente na more babae or more lalaki?
It do depend kasi, di ba, we have 2 kinds of clients, no? The one na complainant,
Yes.
the one who files the cases, and the ones na accused or the respondent, yung mga
Yes.
kinakasuhan. So when it comes to let's start with the accused, pag in criminal cases and the respondents, mostly male. In all my cases, criminal cases that I've handled, I've only had 1 female client.
Okay.
In a criminal case. Talagang lahat lalaki. But it doesn't mean that I don't deal with women. Why?
That's right.
Because most of these male clients, if it's a crime, most of them, they would be detained. And who would go to the office? It's usually the spouse, the wife,
That's right.
the daughters. So it's usually the female members of the family who would deal with our office or who would deal with me because the client is either incarcerated or still waiting to post bail, etc. So I would still end up dealing with a lot of female family members. But when it comes naman to complainants, the one initiates cases, I would say around 50-50.
Okay.
For cases in relation to mga child abuse, violence against women, it's usually more of the female clients yun. And with regards to yung mga not gender-specific cases like contracts, labor, I would say it's about split, no, even, male-female.
How do the men, when they go to you, approach you, yung mga male clients? For example, sa criminal cases, paano nila sasabihin yung kanilang issues to the female lawyer? I'm very curious.
I think, to be honest, I think it's quite, wala naman ako na-feel that they're basing their assessment on the fact that I'm a woman or I'm female. Most of them would just deal with me as if I'm a lawyer.
Okay, that's
So, I haven't really experienced sort of discrimination saying that, oh, she's a female, she cannot really do this well. It's actually the issues I've had more with male clients is with regards to my age, because I'm really younger compared to my law partner. So, they think that maybe I don't have the experience yet. So, sometimes that's why they were a bit doubtful of my capabilities at first. But with regards to whether I'm female or not, I'm lucky, no? I haven't really felt any
discrimination.
Yes.
That's good to hear. Kanina we were talking about your being a BS Psychology graduate. Is it helpful sa iyong law practice ngayon?
Yes, actually, no, nakatulong siya because it would help you in the way you would conduct trial, cross-examination, examination of witnesses. Because you would look at their behavioral patterns. So, it would be easier to elicit the answers that you would want them to say.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes it would help you that you take your cues from their movements, their facial expressions, their choice of words. So since in psychology we did a lot of case studies of individuals, diba? So behavioral patterns. So it helps. And of course, with the advent of psychological incapacity, remember sa ground for annulment, which I say nga, oy, ang dami palang pera ng mga psychologists. Maybe you should just practice psychology rather than practice law, no? But it also helps then when it comes to dealing with annulment cases na yung grounds natin ay psychological incapacity.
So, ibig sabihin, if you handle cases on annulment with the ground psychological incapacity, you think you are more equipped there because of the course you graduated from?
Yes, so it would be very, very helpful.
But you're not the psychologist also at that time.
No,
They still have to avail.
Yes, you have to avail kasi hindi naman ako licensed
That's
na
right.
psychologist because I didn't go to med school or I didn't take up psychiatry. I went to law school, so I just have my pre-law course as BS Psychology.
Attorney Sandy, curious lang ako. Yung mga babaeng pumupunta sa'yo as your clients, anong itsura nila? Do they come to you confident, uncertain, anxious, or desperada? Doon sa 50-50 na sinabi mo, 50%.
It's actually it's a mix, no?
Okay.
A mix of characters. There are some very confident businesswomen out there, actually, or what would really want to enforce their rights. But there are also those who are abused, those who have suffered some kind of abuse, whether financial, emotional, or physical abuse from their spouses or partners. So, those people would tend to be more emotional.
Yes.
And they even have, not just emotional, but they're physically battered. They even had to accompany one to the medical legal for the examinations of the physical wounds, ng mga bruises inflicted on her. So, it would vary. If it's more of a civil cases that it was business transactions, and most of the women I met are really confident business women.
Yes.
But when it comes to cases with relation with regards to bawsi, child abuse, yun yung medyo emotional sila at really distraught.
Okay. Attorney Sandy, tell us, our kabrigada, what will kick, no? What will trigger a woman who is psychologically or physically abused to go to a lawyer? Kasi yung iba, kailangan mong i-push eh. Anong mag-push sa kanila to finally go to a lawyer?
I think, remember, in psychology, we call that the battered woman syndrome, right? So, it's when that victim has already imbibed what we call the learned helplessness na I can't do anything about it. So just let it be, and anyway, mag-okay naman kami. Then the cycle starts over and over again. So usually there would be something that would trigger that. Probably like the birth of a child, because
Okay.
now it's not just herself that she's protecting, but now there's a baby involved or a
Yes.
child involved. So sometimes outside factors would help a woman decide that it's time that, you know, I should get away from this. And then usually interference also from friends, family, so outside support. Because if the woman does not have any outside support, sometimes it's so hard for her to just, you know, go to a lawyer and
Yes, I'm
consult.
sure, I'm sure.
Kasi wala pa naman akong pupunta na kliyente na mag-isa lang siya.
Yes.
Always may kasama is either a best friend, a kapatid, parents, or someone who would help her. Wala pang pupuntang mag-isa.
So, ibig sabihin, they really need support.
They really need support. Not just support emotionally, financially. Just, you know, to help them have that sense of courage, di ba?
Yes.
To confront the issue.
Ito, tanong ko sa'yo, hindi ka ba natatakot? For example, you are the counsel of a woman who's battered. Hindi ka natatakot doon sa male spouse niya? Wala ka bang fear ng mga ganon?
Wala naman so far. Although we've experienced some, of course, with the social media nowadays.
Yes.
There were some who would send like threatening messages that ganon. Or I had one client before wherein if she wanted to meet, we have to meet outside because she cannot be seen going to law office.
Yes.
So may mga ganon din. But so far, I haven't really experienced any fear. Kasi we know naman that we're in the right, you know, and we're doing the right things. I guess that gives me also courage in, you know, helping these women out.
Wow, that's really wonderful mga kabrigada. Attorney Sandy, sabihin mo sa amin kung ilan or ano yung mga usual cases na pinupunta ng mga kababaihan sa'yo for counsel?
Annulment.
Okay, and number one,
Annulment
annulment.
talaga, oo. And then there's the issue with regards to support.
Support, okay.
And custody of children. Because sa office kasi most of the time, when it involves family matters, by default, they would always refer it to me.
Default. I like
default,
that. By
yeah.
default. Okay. So, annulment. Wow. So, are you saying that marami na talagang kababaihan ngayon who would like to annul their marriages?
Yes. I'm actually surprised because I wasn't expecting that there were some people that I know personally na I wasn't expecting that they wanted to get an annulment. But not all of them would actually push through with it. Because I always tell them that annulment is the last resort. If we can get marriage counseling or, you know, if that's a psychology,
Yes,
psychologist
yes.
in me, no? So
Wow,
I always push
I like
for,
that.
first na, why don't you try trial separation first or maybe go to a marriage counselor? I can recommend someone from CEFAM in Ateneo because we have a center for family.
Yes.
Family and I forgot it's CEFAM. It's near our dorm there. So they do counseling for married couples. So I would say that, you know, try counseling first. You know, if it doesn't work out, then maybe that's the time you consider annulment because it's always the last resort. So it makes me wonder sometimes whether lawyers are supposed to be are we the catalyst in the increase of annulment cases, diba? Or, diba, if we're actually, you know, triggering it. But in my case, I always say last resort yan.
Pero attorney, ito lang, kasi mga kabrigada, marami na kasing mga NGOs, mga women groups na talagang advocating for empowerment and enlightenment of women. Baka naman kasali na ito sa kanilang mga na-achieve, mga gains nila, yung mga babae ngayon na mas open na ang mind to annulment. Possible kaya yon?
Na possible yun, no? Kasi a lot of these NGOs, some of them even have, you know, party lists, diba?
Yes.
So, they would provide all these trainings, all these lectures, talks, no, for women. And imagine na open na rin yung mind nila eh. And not only that, but there are a lot of resources nowadays. You know, women, because of, again, social media, some of them can work online.
That's right.
So they already have a lot of resources as
That's
opposed to before, where in the sense, I cannot annul, I have no money, I have no ganyan. But some of my clients, you'd be surprised, even just ordinary working people, they can already at least, you know, raise enough fees to file these cases because they have resources which were not available to them in the past.
That's right. Okay, mga kabrigada, number one is annulment, support, and custody of children. Nag-aawayan talaga yung custody of children, no? Why is that?
I guess because, of course, when spouses separate,
Yes.
okay, there's always a struggle between them who would, win, who would lose. Sometimes it's more of not really about the child or the children, but it's more about the competition among the spouses. Kaya minsan naiipit yung mga bata.
Alam mo talaga, psychologist ka talaga.
Yun yung na-notice ko minsan. So, but if they just really think about the welfare of the children, so they can come up with a solution that's more favorable for both parties, like shared custody or joint custody. Minsan, school days sa father or sa mother, then pag weekends naman, doon naman sa other side. So, yung mga ganyan kasi napag-uusapan naman yan. Parang you really don't have to go to court for that. So, there are a lot of cases naman na fortunately, di na kami maabot sa court. Na
That's good.
several meetings lang, the parties, lawyers to lawyers, we talk, nag-email kami ng lawyers sa kabila, yung mga draft ng mga compromise agreement or our agreement regarding custody. And then, several meetings, negotiation. And then, once we come up with a certain agreement, we just have it approved by the court. Mas madali rather than, battling it out in court. Who deserves to have the children? Are you, parang that she's an unfit mother and you're an unfit father. So it's naipit yung mga bata. So pag ganun, out of
by
court.
default naman, wala naman sa law, by default na pupunta yung mga bata agad sa mother.
Usually children under the age of 7, especially for illegitimate children, no? And even legitimate child would go to the mother because they said it would be too soon to separate the child from the mother. And the only way that the father can get custody if he proves that the mother is an unfit mother.
Yes.
And anyway, but to establish whether that mother is
Unfit.
unfit, you have to go to trial. You have to go to court.
Okay. Mahaba talaga,
Mahaba
no?
siya.
Oo.
And for the welfare of the child, pag yun yung i-consider mo, minsan niya kailangan umabot dun eh.
Yes, that's true. Okay. Mga kabrigada, our third question for the top talking points is, we accept and recognize that the Philippines is a patriarchal society. So I think this is more emphasized now with the president being really patriarchal. So even then, do you think that this world, this country or our society, our laws and norms and traditions, is the country more kind to women or not? Anong mga example natin ng mga batas na kinder to women?
Actually, we've come a long way, no? Compared to other countries. Mas favorable yung conditions natin for the women.
Okay.
With the passage of the Violence Against Women and Children law, that really helped a lot in strengthening and empowering our women. So, compared mo to before na wala silang masyadong outlet, wala silang masyadong basis sa law when they file cases or takot sila. But with the spotlight given on this law when it was enacted, it opened the minds of a lot of women, no? Na pwede pala, kaya pala nating gawin ito. Although there are some provisions sa law na in regards to property management, in case may conflict, go with the decision of the husband, etc. Again, makikita mo pa rin yung history natin, it's medyo patriarchal society tayo. But when it comes to reality naman, especially if a woman is educated, more or less they're mag-even out. So, mas okay yung natin ngayon, yung conditions compared to before. But then of course, there's still room for improvement.
That's right.
There's still room for improvement. Na marami pa pwede silang ipasok. Like maybe in the future, just legalize divorce or rather than going to the annulment that would take a long time and more expensive on the part of the spouses. So, yung mga ganyan, rather than staying in an abusive marriage and then having difficult pa magpa-annul because limited yung grounds, why not just, grant divorce? Again, ako, the Catholic Church will be mad at me for saying this, but I guess, when we studied law, there was a time that we had to make our opinion with regards to divorce.
Yes,
and
true.
Most of us in class are actually pro-divorce. Even my family law professor is really pro-divorce. And he said that it's the ultimate way to protect women din. Na hindi masyadong madidrain yung finances nila, yung resources nila. Yun nga lang, again, they say that it's anti-family, but again, it's a case-to-case basis also. But in general, with how things are in annulment cases, sometimes I would wish, sana meron na lang talagang divorce. Make it easier
Yes.
for these couples na wala naman talagang chance magkabalikan or in an abusive marriage to just to end it all. Diba?
Alam mo, it's curious that you mentioned that because I was really about to ask, how come that we cannot even push a bill like that? And we know that, right? Because it's very difficult for our congressmen and senators to be convinced by their spouses, because of course if I'm a congressman and my wife is the female of the family, the wife would always tell me, no way will you support the bill. So it's still the society we have. It's still the patriarchal society that we have.
And not only that, because remember I worked in Congress for quite some time.
Yes.
So before, when my boss, former Congressman Arthur Pingoy, he was the head of the Committee on Health, we had the bill referred to us was yung reproductive health
Yes,
law.
yes.
So it was already passed,
Yes,
no?
yes,
So again,
yes.
that's
Madugo
one,
yun.
ano rin yun, a victory for women.
Yes.
But at that time, we scheduled it for public hearing, and the lobbying of the Catholic Church
Was strong.
was really, really strong.
Yes.
And it was the most well-attended public hearing we ever had.
Yes.
So, which is why, when there was a divorce bill, it was not filed in our committee, it was in
Yes.
another committee. They couldn't even go past the committee because of the strong lobbying.
Lobby, that's right.
So, it's not just the congressmen themselves,
Yes.
or because it's a patriarchal society, but it's more of the norms also of the Catholic Church.
Yes, that's
Kaya hindi
right.
talaga siya umuusad.
Yeah.
Although there are pending bills now, no, two or more yata na nasa house, na file na rin every year.
Yes,
Or every Congress,
Oo.
someone, dumadami na nga yung file about the divorce bill.
Pero hindi talaga uusad,
Hindi
no?
talaga siya umuusad kasi because of the strong opposition of the Catholic
Of the
Church.
Catholic Church. So it's not just the society, it's still also the norm and the side of the church that really obstructs because they don't want the family to be broken, hindi
Yeah,
ba?
exactly. So we can understand, I understand naman the point of view of the Catholic
Yeah.
Church. But with the way the world is right now, globalization,
Yes.
this year, the access of social media, internet, times have really changed. So sometimes this outdated belief of holding on to things past, sometimes it would hinder a country from developing also.
Yeah. And to add to that, mga kabrigada, last year po and even this year, ang ating Pope himself was saying that it's the year of mercy and to be merciful to wives in an abusive relationship in a family. So therefore, even the Pope has opened his eyes to the reality of the times.
Yes, because before, if there's an abusive marriage, usually the shame sets in. So they just keep it quiet.
That's right.
Submissive yung women before, kaya hindi sila pag-uusapan. But because medyo yung technology now is quite advanced, with the internet, with media, na-highlight na kasi. So since a lot of people say, oh, okay naman pala, parang it has become more common, more news reports regarding that, diba?
So hindi na tabu.
Hindi na siya taboo. So, you have to address that there's really a problem.
Yes.
So, yung ano lang din naman is that for those pro-divorce na advocates, no, that maybe you can just put an exception. Like those in abusive marriage, paano pala sila?
Totoo.
So, yun din yung, say they'd get an annulment. But again, wala nang resources, annulment takes a long time. So again, a lot of them ended up just living together without the benefit of marriage. And
Yes.
the eyes naman of the Catholic Church is also a sin.
Yes.
So, wala ka talaga papuntahan.
Kahirap, no? It's a very
Oo.
tricky situation. So, attorney, ito, nabanggit ko kasi yan because one time, I watched the show of Ellen DeGeneres. Ang guest niya ay si Michael Douglas. Ang sabi niya, I am training my young girls to be strong and tough because the world is not kind to women. So parang, wow, this guy is from America and the civil rights and all. And yet, he was saying that in TV. So kung ganun ang sinasabi ni Michael Douglas sa Amerika, how much more dito sa Pinas? Hindi po ba?
Actually, tama din naman siya, no? Kasi how we see the world kasi is colored din by our environment,
That's
diba?
right,
So,
oo.
sometimes yung ating behavior is governed by external factors. Kung ano nakikita natin araw-araw. Yung personality natin is shaped by hereditary factors as
You're
well
talking
as...
a psychologist
psychologist
na.
naman.
Okay.
So, siguro kung yun yung especially in Hollywood. They grew up they're growing up in Hollywood yung mga
Yes,
anak niya.
oo.
So iba rin yung blinders meron siya. Iba rin yung
I like
nakikita
that
niya.
blinders, okay.
So malabas na yung pagka-psychologist natin. So maybe that's how he sees the world. Kaya, so everybody is entitled to his opinion. But based naman dito sa atin, surprisingly, women here in school, they do better.
Yes.
Diba? In law school,
Yes.
in our class alone, in my class, we outnumber the men 2-1.
That's right.
So, are we saying that masyadong hindi kind sa women? It's not that. There are equal opportunities out there, and if women want to grab them, they really can.
They really can.
They
I
really
agree.
can. So, yun yung mindset na dapat bata pa lang. You know, yung mindset mo is that you really can. You can do this. Parang, our government gave us what we need. We had the bills now, reproductive health bill. We have the VAUSI law.
That's right.
So why don't we learn about them and then, you know, use them diba? As we make our way in the world.
Okay, last question na lang mga kabrigada before tayo mag-extra sa show. What is your personal advocacy as a female lawyer and what have you done so far?
Okay. Siguro, I come from a family of teachers.
Yes.
Because my parents are both, they were both professors, retired now from the Notre Dame of Marble University. So my mom used to be the dean also of the College of Arts and Sciences. So
Wow.
education talaga yung...
Yes, mga educators kayo. Oo.
Pero, I did this before during IBP week that we should also conduct lectures sa mga high school students. Kasi usually I'm invited to speak about human rights, mga VAUSI, and usually the crowd is teachers.
Yes.
Ganon. And then, sa school naman, sa NDMU, I also lectures about the anti-sexual harassment law in the workplace,
yes.
etc.
Gusto ko
Because
yan.
mga college students are going to work eh. So I said, why not start early?
That's right.
So why not, do it high school level pa lang? Kasi a lot of these high school children, they never go to college.
Yes.
So, but most of them would join directly the workforce,
That's
diba?
right, that's right.
So, saan pa sila matututo ng mga rights nila in the workplace? How can they
Yes.
complain about sexual harassment? How can they complain about discrimination? Kasi sa college, sa university, walang problema because it's really part of the, when they do internship, talaga yung school provides for that. But naisip ko, about yung mga high school, hindi na magka-college at all.
That's true.
So, siguro, yun. So, whenever I get the opportunity, we had before sa IBP, nung pag-IBP weeks, nagkanda kami ng mga lectures na we do it sa mga high school students, who are about to graduate. Kasi sila naman, yung iba nila magka-college yan eh. So, mag-join na yun ng magtrabaho.
true.
So, sila para ma-orient sila about their rights, labor laws, about not just, sexual harassment, about labor laws in general. Kasi wala silang background eh. No legal subject are ever taught in high school.
That's true.
So wala yan sa curriculum natin. But, maybe the school can actually have a series of lectures on graduating students that would, introduce them to certain basic laws.
I agree.
So yun yung wala tayo na which we were pushing the IBP before to do on our law week whenever we get the chance. And I have an open invite to some public high schools in Coronadal. Na if they need that, I reached out to one of the principals also na if you want us to lecture on your graduating students on certain legal matters, they pick the topic, what is more interesting to them, ano ba yung kailangan nila, then we can always do that for you. And we'll do that for free. So you
That's
just have to
beautiful.
schedule it eh.
Yes.
Kasi sometimes it's better to learn early what your rights are and what you're entitled to under the law so that you can protect yourself also.
Ayan, thank you very much, Attorney Sandy. Mga kabrigada, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay sa programang Crosstalk. Mga isyu na kailangang malaman ng publiko, ating tatalakayin. Mga isyong dapat malalaman ng individual dito lamang sa Brigada News TV. Ito po ang inyong kabrigada, Belinda Salas Canlas. At ito ang Crosstalk.